Welcome back to Mixed Signals, where we talk about design, visual cultures, and trending topics. And we have a lot of people in the room today. And that's two reasons. It's final review season, which means it's the annual tradition of texting everyone I know to see if they're willing to drive 3 hours to talk about my first year work. So these are the people that were willing to come. No, I'm just kidding. They're not all mine. But we don't need to do full introductions. Maybe we can introduce as people start piping in and talking about and speaking.
I like the idea of mystery voices.
Mystery voices. This is mystery voice number 1.
Mystery voice.
What is ASMR?
Oh, yep. Nihar's got the wide shot. So we got a full room. It's actually, we always like potting with a full room. I think it brings the energy up. Wouldn't you say, Christiana?
I love a full room. Yeah, it's super cool.
Last week, Monday, we did a podcast with a very empty room, and it was that was a real bummer. We were just all quiet and kind of tired and sad.
That was with Matt?
No, that was with us. You were there.
Oh.
Yeah, you were there.
Do you know what show you're on right now?
Where am I?
Who is this? No, I took her seat.
When
She's
am I?
confused. It's she's used to sitting over here. It's not her fault.
I do remember that. That feels like a month ago.
Anybody got any good final review stories they want to throw out? Just what have you experienced in the past few days? Anybody have anything funny, interesting? Nihar, yeah, you're alive.
We had our final yesterday, and we were doing second round, and my friend, he was presenting, and all I hear is, like, one of the people in my studio, he fell asleep, which is understandable. Everyone falls asleep at some point.
Are you asleep right now?
I'm in the process of it.
Got it.
But next thing
This
you know,
is all a dream.
we're all like really like locked into his review, and all we hear is and he was snoring so loud in the middle of his review. It's the first time ever.
Wait. He was asleep during his feedback.
No. My someone else was snoring really
my God.
loudly.
Okay,
during
I
his
thought you were
review
saying somebody
interview.
fell asleep presenting their project, and I was going to say that's
My
epic.
friend looked like he was falling asleep in his review.
All right, hey, so I want to drive into some topics, some trending topics. I want to start one with a couple that made me angry, and I want some reactions from the room. The first one I want to talk about is Travis Scott had this quote. Oh man, I'm not gonna be able to play this video. We'll have to overlay the video, man. You have to see the video. He's explaining why he wants to study engineering.
Who is that lady?
I don't know.
Yeah, that is it. Yeah, because I feel like the design thing, I could design, I'm designing this, I'm drawing this shit up on a day-to-day basis.
I'm drawing this shit up.
But, it's like people here setting it up, and I don't want to know the technical things about it all. Because one thing I hate is working with designers that give you renders that are not doable. A designer can create the illest thing, a computer can create the illest dreamable building, but it's selling you.
Okay, I have a take on this quote, but I want to hear you guys' take first. Anybody in the room want to respond to that a little bit?
Wait, first of all, do you guys know who that lady is?
No.
That's
I don't.
Rick Owens' muse, Michelle Lamy, his wife.
Oh, I was
She
wondering.
influences a lot of people, like A$AP Rocky and all types of
I
people.
like her look. She's got shoulder pads.
Shoulder pads are back now.
Yeah, shoulder pads. You got shoulder pads on? No, you don't.
Not
All right, so
today.
what's the
Yesterday.
thing you want us to do, Caleb?
No, I want to know what do you guys think about that? Like, there's two things going on here. One is the way he says it, which is kind of like what, and then the other thing is like what he's trying to say, which I'm like, oh, okay, but I just want to know what you guys think of that. What do you guys think?
First of all, I think he meant to say doable, or he did say doable.
He
and
did
maybe-
say doable.
Yeah.
The
not
quote
durable,
down
right.
below says, "I could design, but I want to know the technical things about it all. Because one thing I hate, and that's me too, is working with designers that give you renders that are not durable." I think he means doable. You're right. I think that's a bad translation.
Or
if it means durable, that's kind of cool. Is this durable?
it ain't rough enough.
Yeah.
It ain't rough and tough.
He has a very narrow view of design.
I mean, it's like all these designers, all these rappers want to be designers. They want to be like fashion designers and stuff. And now they want to be architects. I think there's like the whole Kanye West.
Yeah, like the
pushing
Kanye
this.
thing. I'm getting Kanye vibes.
But Kanye West architecture sometimes is actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
All this happened because of Virgil Abloh. Because
Yeah.
Virgil Abloh was like Kanye West's main design guy, and he put him on everything. So, you could blame Virgil Abloh for Travis Scott wanting to be an architect.
I just think the funny thing about that is the way it's phrased. Like, does this happen to you a lot? You're given renderings that are not durable or doable. I don't know, but I do kind of understand what he's getting at. The bigger thing here is I think it's cool he's talking about architecture, and I guess he's maybe shitting on architecture a little bit and propping up engineering.
I just want to know, like, what hurt this man? What
Maybe somebody designed him an awesome house,
Yeah.
and then it was like,
I think this is a longer
what I
conversation.
wonder.
At a certain point, like let's say inner city kids in America wanted to be basketball players, rappers, because that's what made money and that's what's seen as like culturally relevant. At a certain point, fashion became relevant because of maybe the music industry, and now like architecture has become more relevant. Like Kanye West also is like a bridge to that.
you think architecture has become more relevant?
Yeah, like in the conversations. Yeah.
Oh,
like,
more relevant in that scene. I get what you're saying.
And so like people want to be architects because it's like cultural medium
Yeah.
that has some sort of influence, but like then come to our world and we're like, nobody cares about architecture because actually nobody does. It's like they're hanging out with the elites, these rappers and stuff, and these fashion designers, and so what they see as architecture is like it's like a high form of art, but it's not the everyday architect that is seen as culturally relevant.
Well, it's thrown around as a cool buzzword, but they don't.
Yeah, it's just
know
like the movies always show architects as like fucking rich as hell, super cool. Like that's not the reality.
I also think if you're at his level, you want everything in your life to be designed and cool. So I'm sure he had some awesome houses designed for him, and it just wasn't durable.
I'm sure he is a good designer too. Like if you're a good musician like that, and like he's probably a good designer.
He has good taste.
Yeah, good taste.
I don't know where he's coming from because it's like, at least it feels like anything is doable if you have enough money.
Yeah.
Right,
Did he not have enough money for some projects?
That's what I don't understand. He
That's
should
what
be
I'm
getting the
wondering.
top shelf of architecture.
Like he wants to tailor architecture like he tailors clothes, you know? Like he wants to pick every stitch, and it's an obsessive like thing. Like I think
and he probably really pushed it, and then they're like, "Hey, this is $3 million." And he's like, "What?"
Yeah, but I think as architects, we have a level of editing and kind of a distance sometimes, but like we have hierarchy of like what we think is important and what gets the ideas across, because we also understand the reality of building, value engineering.
You know the
there's like a
process. You know
social
what's
dynamic. And I think that if you treat architecture like fashion design, one, that's kind of cool, but like at what scale? Like how much does that scale? Can you do that for a skyscraper? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Maybe
well,
you can.
And I wonder how much of this was like a fire festival situation where it wasn't doable because of the constraints of the concert
city won't
space.
allow this.
It's like you can't have 200,000 people. There aren't enough toilets. And he's like, well, don't show me this. Yeah.
Let's take a break and talk about this for a second. How do you guys want a luxury submarine?
Yes.
How do you feel about that?
That is sick.
Do I unlock this in Call of
It's
Duty?
like
What
a
is this?
yacht, but it's a submarine. How cool is this?
So yacht people are going to
I don't know about this.
Okay,
Wait, why is there a helipad?
because you live your heli-
Yeah,
Seriously. That's how you get to your sub.
how do the people get in and out? It surfaces once in a while. Like, what do you? Anyway,
What happens when you go down? What happens to your helicopter?
Oh my god!
It flies away. What do you mean?
What is this? I don't understand how you don't understand this.
I understand it's just stupid.
Well, look, it also has a little drone that pops out whenever you go to the Arctic. I guess I don't know what
It
that's.
looks really cool, but my claustrophobia I would be passed out the whole time I was in that.
But
thing.
you could go to the Antarctic and look at all the penguins.
I'm okay. I'm good.
Thought that would really get you excited.
I think it's amazing.
I like the Migaloo name.
Not for everyone, to Christiana's point.
The
Yeah.
Bigelow.
Yeah.
What is this? I don't know. What is this?
The
The back?
M5.
This is just like World War One vibes.
What is it?
It's like the apocalypse is coming. Get
Yeah,
in your
yeah.
Yeah.
U-boat and
This is definitely
run away.
This is for tech bros that want to escape. Yeah, totally.
And it's very Trumpian gold in the images I'm
Why
looking
not?
at.
I
And
think
then
this is apocalyptic like billionaire aesthetic. It's like, hey, this is how you like go away from the world when like it ends
For
because
sure.
of everything.
The sea level is rising, and here's your solution.
yeah,
I
this
like
is
how in one of the renders they have the sub up on the ice and then they're like camping outside of it. Why?
it's a feature, Christiana.
As someone who's never been on a yacht, I'm allured.
Yeah,
But
this would be you right in the hot tub. Yep.
obviously.
So can we just hate on tech bros for a little bit longer? Hold on. It's starting to really annoy me, this narrative that keeps getting put out there. There's a subreddit I follow about kind of AI topics, and this finance bro is posting about how like he wants to get into the trades because he thinks his job is on the chopping block, his trading job with AI. And he's like, should I become a plumber, a carpenter, electrician? And he goes through this like big thing talking about how 60% of the workforce is going to lose their jobs in the next 10 years. And I keep thinking like, if 60% of the American workforce is losing their job, who is hiring plumbers and electricians? That makes zero sense. This is the biggest scam. I don't know why they keep pushing this narrative.
DIY will be bigger than actual plumbing, electrician, all those trades.
I can't wait for the plumber robot, the AI-driven
It's coming
plumber
for
robot.
sure.
Oh my god.
Dude,
He
he'd
exists.
be wobbling.
He exists out there. He has plunger
they
arms
better-
like Edward Scissorhands.
Oh, dude,
Edward
he's
plunger
little
arms.
He's got little pipe clamps for arms, and they better put a little butt crack on the back. If they don't do that, they are missing a huge opportunity. That's a missed opportunity. And what do you guys think about this? Maybe I'm wrong, but I keep seeing these kind of like tropes thrown around, and it just really bothers me.
No, I think you raise a good point. I think it's interesting because when we talk about automation, we've been talking about it for years, right? And everyone's like, oh, robot arms, all these robots are going to take these jobs. But really, it turned out that AI, this automation, was really going after white-collar jobs, which was kind of like a real surprise, I think. And then I think to that point, yes, these labor, these working with your hands is what cannot be replaced yet.
In the short term.
Yeah. But I think you raised the excellent point of like who is hiring these people. If everyone's losing their jobs, I listened to a interview with the CEO of Google yesterday, and they keep talking about like, oh, this is gonna be so great for productivity, great, blah blah blah. Yeah. And it's just like, why aren't you talking about all the jobs that are gonna get replaced by this? What are people gonna do? How are people gonna afford this? Where is this abundance coming from?
I have a theory here. I actually think I know what's going on, and I heard someone, it's not exactly my theory, but I have heard someone throw this out on Reddit. The reality is that, and actually Jensen Huang is the one that put this out, saying that America has a big problem in AI, in the culture of AI, in that if you go to China, it's being accepted and implemented everywhere, and it's being praised. And it's being taught to school children. Like you're using AI tools to teach very young kids. There's a culture around acceptance there of technologies. Now, he argues that in the U.S., everyone's afraid of it. All the headlines are kind of about how it's taking something away from our society. So I actually think it's a PR stunt in a way. I think when you hear Sam Altman talk about this, he always brings up this job loss thing, and he's like, it's unfortunate, it's a short-term loss, it's a promotional thing. And here's the reason. You also see tons of ads for AI courses, and they're basically saying like, hey, it's coming, and if you don't figure out how to use it, you're going to lose your job. So I think it actually is marketing. You are trying to almost instill a sense of fear that you need to catch up, or you need to adopt something which others
are you afraid
already
architects
adopting.
are going to lose their jobs from this?
They will. Some will.
How and why?
I already see like graphic designers are already complaining about how they're
they're the biggest fucking crybabies.
Hold on. You're right. God actually.
Damn, they just cry. Just use AI, motherfucker. Beat the other people. You have a sensibility.
No, but they are. But here's what they're arguing.
that came a mile late, dude.
He was asleep. He actually woke up and said fuck, and then had to find the pad.
Good job, Nina.
That was perfect.
I don't know about perfect, but yeah.
To the point, though, I do think. Wait, what were we talking about?
You were talking about AI.
Yeah, I know.
Like graphic designers being crybabies.
Graphic designers complain that they've had to lower their rates already because clients are basically like, I'm not going to pay a premium for this because I already know there's other ways to do this in an automated way. So, like, you better give me a discount, basically. I do think that's coming for us, but not maybe in the same way.
Is there going to be like a stratification of like the DIY AI tool to create whatever marketing thing or architecture thing, and then there's going to be the highbrow thing and maybe something in between
maybe
happening? I don't.
This goes back to y'all's conversation about AI slop, right? There's just going to be a ton of it everywhere in every industry.
Yeah, but people know the difference. Like if you want high quality shit, you just pay for the high quality shit. Like look, I'm fine with some slop sometimes, but sometimes I want luxury brand.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I like frozen pizza. I also like getting some.
But they're making it seem like it's like everyone's eating DiGiorno's. No, I don't think so. I don't think everyone wants to fucking eat DiGiorno every time they want to eat pizza. Like, come on.
But the point is, the people who were making the DiGiorno's before don't have any work anymore, right?
Yeah, it's true. I guess.
What are they going to do?
But look at DiGiorno's, man. They got plenty of competitors. When I walk into Walmart, I'm not buying Walmart fucking brand DiGiorno.
But the competitors are other AI tools.
I think we all need to stop talking about it and use it.
Yeah, let's move on.
No, I don't mean here. I just mean generally. Like, if
move
you're
on.
talking about it, then just
use the tools as you want
exactly,
and move on. Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of times, like I'll use AI for rendering enhancements, right? And people will be like, oh my God, why are you doing that? It's like, what do you mean, why am I doing that? Like, it's like the same thing as using Photoshop. Did you design fucking Photoshop?
Seriously.
Did you design the rendering engine? Did you do the math calculations? Did you design the material that you're using?
Oh, you know how to calculate ambient occlusion?
Yeah,
like,
it's
really?
just like, because that we're used to our software ecosystem, that sometimes we forget that like there's a whole field that works on the thing that you're using.
Yeah, totally.
And they might say that you're fucking using their tools and you don't know what you're doing. And so
really
people don't
point.
think about that. They're like, as architects are the people that think they're the smartest sometimes. And it's just like, look, it's just a tool. Just get over it.
Yeah.
Like, don't you think the person that watercolor renders looks at you and says, you're cheating? Of course you're cheating compared to that person. And so like, as long as you have control and you have like sensibility in your AI enhancements, you're fine. As long as it's not doing the project for you.
It's funny you brought that up because I don't know if you've checked out watercolor exhibitions recently, but they're freaking the fuck out because all the entries into these competitions are AI. Like they're getting overrun with AI entries in all these like oil painting and watercolor institutions that used to be like annual big events.
Yeah.
They're getting overrun with AI submissions.
Because they're being submitted digitally? Because you
have to submit digitally before you get accepted to send the piece to the exhibition. So they're reviewing.
Mystery voice number 3 wants to talk.
Yeah, speak up. Speak up, voice number 3.
I've taken the mic like 5 times tonight. I'm like, oh no, I don't know.
We should have a camera on the battle.
Say it. Do it, Ramon.
No. We actually use a lot of AI. And actually, kind of the most useful thing to do is watercolor. Because like the thing is like there comes a point in every project in which like you actually got to be vague. And you have if you show something rendered pristine and figured out, it actually hurts you because
it's a really good point.
It's the uncanny valley of design. You really haven't had the time, nor should you claim that you figured everything out. So watercolor is actually pretty good to be vague, but then no one knows how to do watercolors in the office except like one guy, and he's like just doing watercolors.
Which is hilarious on its own.
Well, that guy will have his job forever. So.
And just back to the AI thing, and so like essentially we end up using it to kind of like take literally our 3D models and we just like render them in just watercolor or some sketch style. But it kind of what's kind of happening, and going back to the job thing, is that I don't see like certain jobs being cut from the design industry right now. It's more of the jobs that don't get created because a lot of people are way more productive using these tools. And so like essentially like we're not going to hire a lot more people that would have normally been hired. It's just our people are going to get more productive.
I've heard this in other industries too. Like it's going to be very few entry-level jobs. And the middle people are going to just be asked, well, just the thing you would give your intern, just have AI do it.
With new technologies, people get replaced, but eventually a new set of jobs appear.
I think that's true. We should move off of this. I have something funny to show you guys. But I guess the thing that always bothers me is like just the constant repackaging of the narrative is getting a little bit exhausting. And this like constant fear-mongering. I don't know about you guys, but I scroll through my YouTube algorithm and it's like every other video is like, the economy will collapse in 2027 once AI complete. And I'm like, what is going on? Like it's just every other video.
That's the news. We just like to be in sorrow and tragedy all the time.
It's like panic mode.
Clickbait.
Yeah, I hate it.
I don't know if it's super related, but on that point of the next generation will be plumbers, I mean, I feel like that follows the educational narrative too, where it's like, don't go to 4 years of college, become a plumber. You know, it's like connected to these larger...
I agree with this, and I think there's a little bit of a right-wing agenda to some extent to say, like, to question higher education. So maybe it's convenient that these things are colliding in a way.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Anyway.
All right, let's get into some architecture.
Yeah, sorry about that.
I want to fight about some architecture.
Well, higher education is questioning higher education. Did y'all read the Dezeen article?
Yes, I did.
And what did you think about that?
We talked about it on the pod a little bit.
Oh,
what did you think about
I'm behind
that?
on the pod.
No, it's
sorry.
okay. It's okay. It's okay. What did you think
voice
about
number 1? We're kicking you off.
No, but really, what did you think about the taking to task? Because I thought a lot of it was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting to think about. I think it's we should be questioning this. I mean, isn't that what education?
Wait, we got to summarize. What are we talking about?
Yeah, actually,
because people don't know what the hell we're talking about.
Did you read the article?
No.
Our audience doesn't know what the hell you're talking about.
There was a Dezeen article that came out. Harriet Harris wrote the article, and it had 5 points for changing architectural education. That's the one you're referring to.
Actually,
right?
no, it's a different one. Sorry.
I know the one you're talking about.
We were talking about.
No. This is
a different one.
A former Pratt Dean.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so
and she still teaches there. Yeah.
Yeah. So get us a TLDR on this. What's the recap?
And I don't want to misparaphrase her 5 points, but
let's pull them up
here.
Yeah.
Pull them up.
5 ways the architecture education needs to change. Okay, so 5 points here, and they're actionable. So make care, rest, and reciprocity studio norms. So exactly what we were talking about at the beginning of this. What?
I'm trying to
you
zoom in.
anti that?
No, I'm just trying to zoom in. No, that was not a reaction to the point. The point's fine.
Caleb wants us all to never sleep
Don't
again.
sleep. No, I'm just kidding.
Teach the architecture of finitude. So the full life cycle of architecture, thinking about what happens when there's an ending to something. The third point is put pedagogy before bureaucracy.
That's a good point.
Then let the design jury die.
Stupid.
That's one. What
Boo!
you think? Interesting.
All right,
Let's talk
what's
about
the
that
reason
one.
for that
We'll get in the debate in a
I
second.
think
What's
we
the fifth
should
one?
talk
What's the fifth
about
one?
that.
Hold on.
Teach collective practice, not professional performativity. So that's about collaboration, which, yes.
Okay, let's start from the top.
There's a lot of lingo in this article. Let's unpack it.
Start from the top. What do we got?
All
What
right.
was that?
One
that
was make care, rest. I mean, make care, rest, and
I don't think
reciprocity.
we can argue with this
Hey,
one.
yeah,
I
who's
think
going to
we
say no to
all-
that?
I think
Absolutely.
Nihar wouldn't want to rest after, I think he just wants to be workloaded.
I
blah,
mean,
blah,
he's
blah.
here.
Well, okay, let
wanted
me
to
be
come
the
here.
asshole then for a second, though. Yes, we have to teach that. The thing I tell my students at the beginning of every semester is there's no reason for you to pull an all-nighter. If you do your work the way that you should, if you're responsible, if you show up and clock in, you shouldn't be pulling all-nighters. But I also don't want to be like, hey, look, you're sleepy, don't do any work. Like, some students will use that in a way to not do work. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah, but I think this is just saying promote like a healthy lifestyle. Don't force people, don't make people feel bad that they're not staying
Agree
up
with
all
that.
night working.
How do you
Well, I think-
encourage rest without having to compromise on all the things that they need to
Yeah.
produce?
I have one maybe controversial idea, but I think the building should close. Grant, this is not going to like stop work. You can still work in your apartment, but
It's a bad idea.
No, but that
It's a bad idea.
I know.
No, keep going. Sorry.
But when I taught the semester abroad in Italy, the architecture building closed at 9. It was and I mean, we could go into much better work-life balance, maybe culturally there, but it fed into the way students worked abroad. But I do think there was something of like, okay, you can't be in studio and then everyone reinforcing with one another this like pressure. It happens in the office too. It's like you don't want to be the first one to leave. Then you carry all this guilt.
I do. I want to be the first one to leave.
Okay, love that. Anyway,
I want my
Well,
dinner.
but some people work
I
at
think-
night though.
Well,
like,
but I think that that sets up an inequity because there are students that need the resources of the school in order to do their work. So I do think that we need to consider that. I mean, I think the resource of space is important. Also, we don't want to not foster collaboration. Like I already have an issue with students not working in the studio, especially if we get to point 5 here and talking about collaborative work.
It also treats students like they can't manage their own time. Like why would we we have to be in charge and shut down the school so that they make sure they take care of themselves. They're adults. They are obviously learning how to manage their own time. And
This is really important. They don't close the office at 10 p.m. when you have a deadline.
Yeah.
You have to learn to manage your time.
I think the inequity thing is an important one because like not everyone has the same resources at home. Not everyone has the same like space that's comforting or to work in. Like I work at night like the best, and maybe people don't live in a place where that's even viable. Like especially if they have roommates and stuff at that age. Or where they live. So there's that to consider. I understand what you're saying, but I think we're all on agreement to this.
Nihar wants to chime in.
Nihar, what you got to say?
For me, studio is the one place that I feel that I can concentrate with people around me who make me want to do better. Like I can work in the student union or like in the boba shop downtown, but like if I'm surrounded by people who are doing exactly what I'm doing and we're all striving to do the best that we can, and like they're kind of understanding me in a way that no one else can. That kind of like, even if it's at late night, those moments where like, you know, we share like some sort of space together, I think that ends up being a lot better because I've found my closest relationship through friendships I fostered when we were doing stupid shit late at night.
Yeah, but
that's true.
I said shit. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah,
Beep yourself, please.
Nihar,
I'm not married to this
No, Nihar,
position, but
yeah,
yeah.
Nihar, you're the
back
person that's kind of encouraging this bad work culture. I mean, you're the one keeping people up at night because
peer
you're the one that
pressure.
doesn't go home.
No, everyone thinks that there's this thought in the architecture building that I don't sleep, and that's because I'm just usually there.
Because you
till,
have
like,
a wall
9,
of
10
Red Bull, dude.
Dude, I know you
I
sleep.
know I had 2 double shots. All right, that's
I know you sleep because you were asleep for the first 30 minutes of the podcast. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. All right, we got a battle coming up. So we got question: yes or no? Should the studios and all schools close at around 2 a.m.? That seems reasonable, right?
No.
Yes or no?
Why?
Coincide
with
Why?
bar
Why not
closure.
just
Let's
leave
just say
it
yes or
open?
no. I say yes.
No.
So they can
Yeah.
clean the studio and prevent fruit
I
fly
say
infestations.
yes.
Yes. Okay. What else we got?
No.
Okay.
No.
Emily?
I've actually had a studio that closed. Like my first and second year of undergrad, like the building closed, and then it was open all the time. And I liked it way better when it was open all the time. I think it's an attitude that you guys as instructors and educators have to have, because the reality is that there is a world in which you can do all your work and sleep and be great at it. You know, I see a lot of professionals do it all the time in the office every day, but you have to get.
But the question is, look, so we know that we're the top % of our when we were in school, right? Like we're A
Speak
students.
for yourself. I was
We're,
shit.
we're all A students. Okay, we're all A students. You got to remember, not everyone's like that. And so the thing is, are we aiming to kind of set up the policies for the best students or for everybody and for the lowest students? I would say I want to think about the lowest student and their life, the people that are on the verge of, mental collapse, and, there is harmful things out there, and we don't want to discourage people. So I understand what you're saying, and I would always stay super late, but, not everyone is like me. Not everyone's like you, and at a certain point they feel pressure that's built on them, and we don't want to put that pressure. So yeah, I don't know. It's a hard toss, but I think we're all in kind of agreement. And I didn't hear, did you say yes or no on the 2 a.m.?
I think 2 a.m. is a reasonable time if you are going to close.
Yeah,
I
if
think
you are going to close.
I think the premise
bars
is wrong.
and studios close at 2 a.m.
I
Open back up at 6 a.m.
Yeah, you can go back. Yeah,
You
open
go
up.
back
I
in.
think
6 or
the
5.
premise is wrong, and I agree with Ramon. I don't think setting a time for the studios to close does not address this point.
I think it's the never-ending nature of design that causes that kind of like idea of like, I got to do more, and staying late. And it's actually not productive. And when you have experience, you know when to stop, when you say like, this is good enough. Yeah. And I think that references what they're missing.
But how do they learn that if they don't go through that process? I don't understand. Like, if you don't give them the freedom to have to budget their time, make mistakes, and learn from it. This is what I always don't like about the way that schools think about problems, is like, how do we make a structure that's going to give them a life lesson that they need to learn on their own? You can't always do that. Like, sometimes you have to live it.
But we can encourage. I mean, I agree with the attitude. We need to encourage it and flag it. Like, students aren't always able to flag it for themselves.
That's a good point. Hey, you're not getting sleep because you're not.
Please go home. Yeah. Let's talk tomorrow.
I definitely have turned to a student and been like, I think you need to leave. Like, this desk grid is over. Go take a nap. Yeah. Go talk to someone. Go take a shower. You smell.
All right, wish we could say that.
Nihar, give us a random sound.
All right. Let's move on. I want to move to point 2. We're taking forever on the 5 points.
Can we just jump to point 4, or do we have
jump
to go?
Jump to point 4.
Can we just
Everything else
let jury die? And let's put a cap of 5 minutes.
We know
on this.
we know Barry's feeling about this.
Do you need to take the poll first?
Yeah, let's take a poll because I'm thinking about shorts here, so I got to think about like how we're clipping this. Okay, let the design jury die. What do we think about this?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
I kind of think yes.
Wait, we got a yes or no?
What?
A kind of yes.
I got a no. I think,
Whoa. We can't have kind ofs.
Yeah.
We need to
assert
be
yourself.
Black and white.
Assertive.
Black and white.
Like,
You're on record, so
I
I'm holding you accountable.
my design jury
We'll
died.
debate it after, but you know.
Okay.
Which
I'll
lane are
say
you
yes.
in?
I'll say
Okay.
yes. I'm in the
Ramon,
yes lane.
Ramon, defend yourself.
Oh yeah, I've
Billy,
been
did you
waiting
say?
for this question.
Fight.
I said yes.
You've
All
been
right.
waiting the entire night for
Who the reason I said a redundant yes, and this is my reason. Who is the jury for?
That's my point.
Who is the jury for?
this. Us, obviously.
No.
The teachers.
It's for the teachers.
Yeah, it's always for us.
Yes.
No.
I don't
Really?
agree
No,
with
that's
that.
how it's
I
set up.
completely disagree with
I don't
that.
agree with that.
I mean, we speak about architecture. We need to. Sorry, I stole your mic. I'm not
What
even
an
allowing
excuse.
you to
Like,
make that
silence.
point.
I love this.
The power. No, I feel that it's. Yes, I think we should format it differently, where there's not a row of critics in front of students, and maybe there's a little bit of bringing the students into it more. Definitely, I shouldn't say maybe, we should definitely do that. But for them to be able to, I learned so much hearing the discourse among the jury. That's key, to be able to speak about your work, to learn something
As
new
a
from
student,
that.
you're saying, as a professor?
Both,
Both.
but definitely as a student.
So when we had Barry here, we were talking about this topic, and I really disagree with this take because, like, for instance, when
Not
you're teaching,
his take.
with this take,
Yeah, okay.
getting rid of the design jury, and Barry's take was absolutely not that it's essential to to not only to the discipline or the practice, but for you as an author to present your work. That is essential. And we were the conversation where it landed, which I teaching thesis or FP. You really need design jury input. If I go in there and try to lead 15 people through a thesis, that's not fair to them. Like, I use the jury to bring me information and to help me shape their project. Like,
So
need
it's
to
for
have
Caleb. We hear it.
No. But my point is
but
that
it's never
not
a
fair.
conversation.
No, my point is it's not fair for the student.
It's better.
If it's just
I agree with
us
that.
in a dialogue, they're not getting enough.
Oh, totally.
Well, I think the reason why I asked that question is, please, if you're listening to this, the next time you find yourself in a jury, count the number of seconds between a comment and the next person. It's 0.
It depends on the project and the jury.
You'll find a time where it's like 0. It's like, and I want to say something next to the point. Like, and it's like, oh no, I really agree with that. Like, there's 0 in every conversation. I give you a chance to like actually give you the mic back, right? Which I'm not going to do right now.
I can just steal it.
Emily, what's your thoughts?
I want to keep the jury only because what is the alternative? I guess is where my head's going. Like, a student has put in all of this work, all of this time, all of this thought, all of this labor, all of these sleepless hours. Hopefully not, but you know what I'm saying. To just send me something digitally, and then I'm like, great job, here's your grade.
And then you run it through the grading matrix, and then that's over.
And then it's just like there's no dialogue.
I think
about
we
it.
can reframe.
And that's not what design is about. Design is about having a conversation to figure out how it fits in, to get feedback, and so that you can edit your project, you can edit the way you think about projects moving forward. So without the jury, I feel like we're losing a lot of that, what makes architecture more art than a technical drawing,
Agree.
Yeah, but
profession.
let me jump in here. The question, I agree. I think everyone's on the same page. We all think design criticism is very good, but the problem is, as the critics, they are not aware of what they're doing. Like, what they're doing is they're having conversations among themselves, and we see that from time to time. I think Ramon, that's what you're speaking to. We all agree that students should have an opportunity to know how to present their argument, defend their argument, and present multiple options of how you could think it if people are presenting counter arguments. Now, the thing is, the academics, usually on the jury, want to have a conversation with their colleagues about the projects. And now I have a hard time these days knowing how to conduct a review, because a lot of times I want to get into the theory with my colleagues, but then I know the students don't really benefit from it. And I'm just talking to my colleagues.
Why don't they benefit
Explain
from
it
hearing
to
that
them.
conversation, though? I don't understand.
Because they're half awake and it's over their heads.
Well, no,
But you still need to
it's
hear it.
Nihar,
It's
can you please
hold on.
wait?
Nihar's
Nihar, before
keeping his eyes open.
Wait, the point is, it's the intention of your question and the conversation. And I agree they can benefit from it, but it's the intention from the person speaking. Their intention is not actually directed towards the student. It's directed towards their colleagues. That's the problem. It's not that they can't learn from it.
But why did I get what you're saying. There are good juries and there are bad juries. There are juries where you sit there and you're like, this is irrelevant to the conversation. Obviously, yeah, guys, there's bad juries. I'm not saying that that's not the case. On a good jury, hopefully you're getting some of both. Hopefully you're getting dialogue with the student. Hopefully you're getting feedback on a very specific project. But hopefully they're also hearing me talk to you as an instructor and say, like, hey, the way you set this up is problematic because of this, or maybe there's something really interesting that you're doing. I think the room benefits from hearing that. Now, if they don't want to listen to it, that's on them.
No, I see what you're saying, and I think that they can't. I'm not saying you can't talk to your colleagues and say bring up a question and bring the thing, but it's like, I remember seeing a review at Penn, and it was like Tom Wiscom, Todd Gannon, and all these people.
Is the worst.
They're just they're chit chatting with each other.
They're talking shop.
The student is just kind of like this. Like, look, and we see that all the time. We see that here. We see that everywhere. Everyone's just kind of like this. They're not expected to talk. Actually, I've seen a review recently where someone directly asked a question to a student, and they're so used to just not saying shit, they just stood there. And then it was so awkward.
Perfect. Nice work.
Nihar, what's your thoughts?
That's his thoughts. He just gave
He
it.
just woke up.
I'm in the group of keeping the design jury, and I think part of it is me, and it's sometimes it's something I have a gripe with about RPI, and this is more of I kind of get the limitations of jury sometimes, but it's like when I'm like, oh, who's gonna be on our jury, and my professor's like, oh, we're gonna ask David Bell. We're going to ask Kyle Troy. We're going to ask Wally to sit on a review. I'm like...
You don't want that.
I'm not going to pass comment on that.
Be careful.
You don't want that smoke.
I've already said that I didn't want to take a Wally studio before.
Yeah.
But it's more of that, like I know they're good professors. I know what they're talking about. I know they know what they're talking about, but I don't want another RPI perspective on my work. Like... You can talk about the theory all you want. That's great, but like the other things, like I feel like when I'm at RPI, I talk about theory enough. There's like that's not the conversation I want to have. I feel like when if we have discussions amongst ourselves, I feel like as a student, I'm not getting enough out of that because like I've already had those conversations enough to warrant that. Well, if I want the perspective of theory from like someone from Pratt or from any other school that's not RPI, I get a lot more out of that.
I think your perspective, though, is very tailored to the studio course that you're in right now, and not to get too much into the weeds, but you're in a very practical studio where there are certain deliverables that you have to hit, and you have to kind of be able to be technical in that way. So that kind of direct red line feedback makes a lot of sense. But I think the majority of studios that people conduct are on a level theoretical. And so talking about a student's approach to a project on a more theoretical standpoint is, I mean, from the pedagogy standpoint, probably more applicable, no?
Yeah.
Well, I feel like theoretical conversations only lead to, like what Ramon was describing, like just this academic masturbation, honestly. It's what it feels like a lot of the time. You know, they're just talking about stuff. They're like, oh, did you think about this? And, you know, as a student, I hated juries because like I would sit, you know, present my project, and then people who have never seen the project before, don't understand the studio, just complete strangers. They'd be like, oh, did you consider this? I'm like, yeah, I considered it. I didn't like it. You know, like
I don't remember a single thing that was said to me during
Exactly.
school. I just remember how they said it.
Seriously, you don't remember any comments from like, I have certain thesis reviews that are burned in my brain where it's like, oh man, that was rough, or like, you know, whatever. Like, you don't have any that are burned in your memory?
Well, I remember that, but like I don't remember anything helpful.
Have you ever heard, Billy?
Have you ever heard the saying that it's like no one remembers what you really say, it's how you say it? Yeah. Like that's kind of, some people were kind, some people were mean. That's
condescension.
Well, I think maybe the answer here is I want those critics that want to have those conversations on a podcast. Like sit in this circle, bring up students' work, and have that conversation.
That's the ultimate irony. Those people will never do it on the podcast.
Hold on. I think that Ramon's point is a good one. The delivery is important, and how to have a critical conversation is essential to be able to tell. So I'm going back and reading Harriet's articulation of this point.
It's very fluffy.
No.
All right, we're moving on.
Yeah.
No, finish your thought.
Finish your point.
I don't remember my point. Oh yeah. So I mean, if the delivery is important, and if our students are sleeping, then we can converse with them, and they should be able to respond. And Billy, you should be able to say that, hey, I did think about that, and this is why. And if I were on the jury, I would ask you, and why did you move away from it? And then we have a conversation about that.
It's never a conversation, right? It's never a conversation.
And I think that's the point, right? The jury should be more conversational, but it is the jury that can bring up these points of conversation, these different points of view. I do want to make one point about what Nihar said, that your faculty is not homogenous. So I don't think just because they're internal to a school means that they don't provide a range of opinions, and I don't think you're necessarily saying that.
I get what he's saying too, though, because there is, especially here, and I don't mean to pick on our school, but I just the review culture here is not great. The conversations around projects are not helpful. I'm not trying to pick on anyone in particular. When I came here, I love teaching here. There's a lot of good things about being here. The review culture is not good here, and I think sometimes when you bring some external life, it really helps. Like it changes the dynamic. Sorry, that's what I.
Could you elaborate? I'm curious.
I just feel like oftentimes the conversation is almost about anything except what's on the wall. And it's like, what are we doing?
Really?
Just talk about it's different for comprehensive. I actually think the comprehensive reviews I think are really productive at our school.
I'm talking about the other reviews. I've sat on 81, 83 this year, and verticals, and
I'm not saying it's
feel
all
like
the
it's
time.
Not.
But did the student find it helpful?
I try to make it helpful when I converse about their
there's
project.
there's post processing. I mean, and I have this conversation with. I'm sorry, Emily, did I cut you
go
off?
ahead.
I have this conversation with my students all the time. Is like it takes time for it to click for you, and it probably takes the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. Like I didn't walk out of school understanding everything, and I still don't understand everything, and that's you're never going to, and that's the part of it. But it's a point that, I mean, if your memory serves, you recall later on, and then you process that conversation.
We got a Feliz Navidad. This is the end of part 1, and part 2 will continue next
What
week.
language
Bye.
was